If you've got a Volkswagen and you're finding yourself topping off the oil every couple thousand miles, you're not crazy, and your car isn't necessarily falling apart, but something is going on under that hood. And ignoring it is one of the fastest ways to turn a few $100 problem into a few $1,000 one. Here's the thing nobody tells you when you buy a VW: a lot of these engines burn oil, not because they're broken, but because of how they were designed. The famous EA888 turbo engines you'll find in the Jetta, the Passat, the GTI, the Tiguan, a huge chunk of them quietly sip oil between changes. And most owners have no idea it's even happening until that oil light flickers on at the worst possible moment. And that's exactly the trap. Low oil in a turbocharged engine doesn't just mean add a quart and move on. It means more heat, more wear, more stress on the parts that are most expensive to replace. By the time the dashboard warns you, the damage clock has already been ticking. So in this video, I'm going to walk you through why your VW is burning oil in the first place, how to figure out whether what you're seeing is normal or a red flag, and the real fixes. From the 5-minute stuff you can do yourself to the things you actually need a shop for. Stick around, because by the end, you'll know exactly what's happening inside your engine and exactly what to do about it. Why your VW burns oil in the first place. Let's start with the part most people get wrong. When your VW burns oil, your gut reaction is to assume the engine is worn out or that you got a bad one. But for a lot of these cars, oil consumption is baked right into the engineering. It was there from the factory. The heart of the issue lives inside Volkswagen's turbocharged 4-cylinder engines. The EA888 family in particular. These are the engines powering most of the Jettas, Passats, GTIs, Tiguans, and Audis from the last 15 years or so. They're powerful, they're efficient, and they're genuinely great engines in a lot of ways. But the earlier generations especially were designed with thin, low-tension piston rings to cut down on friction and squeeze out better fuel economy. The trade-off? Those skinny rings don't seal the oil away from the combustion chamber quite as well, so a little bit of oil sneaks past and gets burned along with the fuel. Then you add direct injection and a turbocharger into the mix. A turbo spins on a shaft lubricated by engine oil, sealed off by tiny rings of its own. The hotter and harder that turbo works, the more those seals are asked to do. And over time, a small amount of oil can slip through and head straight into the intake. None of this throws a check engine light. None of it makes a noise. It just quietly disappears, a little at a time, between every oil change. So when you're standing there in the garage wondering why the dipstick reads low again, understand, this isn't always a sign that something failed. Sometimes it's just the engine doing exactly what its design allows it to do. The real question isn't whether your VW burns oil. Plenty of them do. The question is how much. And that's where we separate totally normal from you've got a real problem. Normal oil use versus a real red flag. Here's something that catches a lot of VW owners off guard. Volkswagen themselves consider it acceptable for these engines to burn up to about a quart of oil every 1,000 miles. Read that again. A full quart in 1,000 miles is, on paper, within spec. If you ever take your car to a dealer with an oil consumption complaint, that's the number they'll measure you against. And a lot of people walk out frustrated because their car technically passes. Now, in the real world, most healthy VWs don't burn anywhere near that much. A car in good shape might use a quarter to half a quart between changes, and honestly, that's nothing to lose sleep over. Topping off a little here and there is just part of owning one of these engines. So if you're adding a splash of oil once in a while and your levels stay reasonable, you're probably fine. Where you need to start paying real attention is when the consumption climbs. If you're going through a full quart every 1,500 miles, then 1,000, then suddenly you're checking the dipstick every other week. That's no longer normal. That's an engine telling you something is wearing out or breaking down inside. And the speed at which it gets worse matters just as much as the amount. A car that slowly used a little oil for years is a very different situation from one that started drinking it overnight. The other giveaway is what you can see and smell. A healthy engine burning a touch of oil gives you nothing. A problem engine starts showing faint blue smoke from the exhaust. Especially on a cold start or hard acceleration, and you might catch that distinct burnt oil smell. The dipstick tells you the quantity, but your eyes and nose tell you the severity. Put those together, and you've got a pretty honest read on whether you're dealing with a quirk or a genuine fault, the main culprits behind the problem. So when oil consumption crosses the line from quirk to fault, there are a handful of usual suspects, and it helps to understand each one because they don't all cost the same to fix. The most common offender, and thankfully one of the cheapest, is the PCV valve, the positive crankcase ventilation valve. Think of it as the engine's pressure relief and recycling system. As the engine runs, a little bit of pressure and oil vapor builds up in the crankcase, and the PCV system is supposed to route that vapor back into the intake to be burned cleanly. On VWs, this part is built into the valve cover, and the little diaphragm inside it loves to fail. When it does, it stops regulating properly and starts actively sucking raw oil into the intake. The classic sign is a rough idle, sometimes a whistling or hissing noise, and your oil just vanishing. Good news is, it's often a bolt-on replacement and one of the most satisfying cheap fixes on these cars. Next up, and a big step more serious, are the piston rings. Remember those thin, low-tension rings we talked about? Over the miles, carbon and oil sludge can build up and clog the tiny drain holes in the oil control ring, so it can no longer scrape oil back down the cylinder wall. Instead, that oil gets left behind to burn on the next combustion stroke. This is the cause behind the worst consumption cases, and it's the one that gives you that blue smoke and that burnt smell. It's also the expensive one, because getting to the rings means tearing into the engine. Then you've got the valve stem seals. These are small rubber seals that sit at the top of the engine and keep oil from dripping down the valve stems into the combustion chamber. As they age, the rubber hardens and shrinks, and oil starts seeping past, especially when the car has been sitting overnight. The telltale sign here is a puff of blue smoke right when you first start the car in the morning that clears up after a few seconds. And finally, the turbocharger itself. As those internal turbo seals wear, oil gets pulled through into either the intake or the exhaust side. A failing turbo will usually give you smoke under hard acceleration, maybe some whining, and in worst cases, a noticeable drop in power. This one ranges from moderately to seriously expensive, depending on whether you can rebuild or have to replace. The key takeaway is that these problems live on a spectrum. A bad PCV valve is a cheap afternoon. Worn rings are a major repair, and figuring out which one you're dealing with before you spend a dime is the whole game. How to diagnose it yourself. Before you hand your car over to a shop and brace for the estimate, there's a lot you can figure out yourself in your own driveway, and it costs you nothing but a little attention. Start with the most basic thing of all. Actually track your oil consumption instead of guessing at it. Check your level on a cold engine, sitting on flat ground, and write down the mileage. Then check it again at the same spot a few hundred miles later. Now you've got real data. You know roughly how much oil you're losing over a known distance, and you can compare that against what's normal. Vague impressions like, "it seems low a lot," don't help you. A number does. Next, become a detective about smoke, because the timing tells you almost everything. If you get a little puff of blue smoke right on a cold morning start that disappears after a few seconds, that's pointing you toward valve stem seals. If the smoke shows up mainly under hard acceleration when the turbo is working, you're looking more at the turbo or the rings. And if it's a steady haze most of the time, that leans toward worn piston rings. Same symptom, different timing, completely different diagnosis. While you're at it, look for what's not there. Get down and check under the car and around the engine for actual oil leaks, wet spots, drips, oily residue on the underside. This matters because burning oil and leaking oil produce the exact same symptom on your dipstick. If your oil is disappearing but the ground under your car is bone dry, that tells you it's being burned, not leaking out. If you've got puddles, congratulations. You might have a much simpler and cheaper problem. You can also listen and feel. A rough or lumpy idle, hissing from the top of the engine, that whistling sound, those all point toward the PCV system. And if you want to go one step further, a compression test or a leak down test will tell you the real condition of your rings and cylinders. That part you can do at home with some basic tools. or have a shop do quickly, and it's the closest thing to a definitive answer before anyone opens up the engine. The whole point here is that you walk into that conversation with a mechanic already knowing what's likely wrong. That alone protects you from being upsold on repairs you don't need. The real fixes, from DIY to the shop. All right, you've figured out what's likely going on. Now let's talk about actually solving it, starting with the cheap and easy and working our way up. The easiest win, and the first thing you should try, is replacing the PCV valve. On most of these VWs, it's integrated into the valve cover, and depending on your model, you're looking at a part that's reasonably priced. If your symptoms were a rough idle, a hissing noise, and disappearing oil, there's a real chance this single part solves your whole problem. It's the highest value fix on this list, so always rule it out first before assuming the worst. If the PCV checks out and you suspect carbon-clogged piston rings, there's an intermediate step worth trying before you commit to major surgery. A proper engine flush or a dedicated ring cleaning treatment can sometimes free up those gummed-up oil control rings, especially if the problem is caught earlier rather than later. It doesn't always work, and it won't save rings that are truly worn out, but it's a low-cost gamble that has genuinely rescued a lot of engines from the operating table. Just don't expect miracles, and don't let it replace regular maintenance. Speaking of which, and this is the part people skip, the single best long-term move is religious oil changes with the correct VW spec oil. A huge share of these consumption problems trace right back to extended oil change intervals and the wrong oil cooking into sludge that clogs everything up. Sticking to a tighter interval with the proper full synthetic does more to prevent this issue than any single repair. Now for the heavy hitters. If you've confirmed worn piston rings through a compression or leak down test, that's an engine teardown, pulling the head, replacing the rings, possibly more. This is firmly shop territory for most people, and it's a four-figure job. Same story with a failed turbocharger. Depending on the model, you're either rebuilding it or replacing it, and again, that's real money. Worn valve stem seals land somewhere in between. It's labor-intensive, but doesn't always require pulling the whole engine apart. Here's the honest bottom line on the expensive repairs. You have to weigh the cost against what the car is worth. On a higher mileage VW, sometimes the smart play is simply to keep topping off the oil, drive it sensibly, and run it until it no longer makes financial sense to fix. That's not giving up, that's just doing the math. A quart of oil every month is a lot cheaper than a $5,000 engine rebuild. So let's bring it all together. If your VW is burning oil, the first thing to do is take a breath, because for a lot of these engines, a little consumption is just part of the deal, not a death sentence. The job is to figure out where you actually fall on that spectrum. Track your real numbers, read the smoke and the timing, rule out a simple leak, and start with the cheap fixes before you ever assume the worst. More often than not, it's a PCV valve and a return to proper oil changes, not a blown engine. And if it does turn out to be the bigger stuff, worn rings or a tired turbo, now you know exactly what you're looking at and exactly what the conversation with your mechanic should sound like. You're walking in informed instead of getting talked into repairs you don't need. That knowledge alone can save you thousands. At the end of the day, these are good engines that respond well to an owner who pays attention. Stay on top of your oil, catch the small problems before they grow up into expensive ones, and your VW will keep going a lot longer than the internet doom and gloom would have you believe. If this helped you make sense of what's happening under your hood, do me a favor and hit that subscribe button. I put out videos like this all the time to help you keep your Volkswagen running strong and out of the repair shop. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.